Welcome back, guys, to Dr. Moses MD YouTube channel. So today I have a question for Dr. Moses. So Dr. Moses,
Yes.
how do I know if I'm drinking more caffeine?
How do you know if you're drinking more?
More caffeine.
Oh, you mean how do you know if you're drinking too much caffeine?
Yeah, too much caffeine.
Okay, that is an excellent question. In all my years as a doctor, nobody's ever asked me that, Vineet.
Yeah, thank you.
Nobody's ever asked how do I know if I'm drinking too much caffeine?
Because in
Okay.
the last video,
Yeah.
we made it like a person should take only 400 milligrams
Yes, 400
of caffeine
milligrams is your daily
per
limit.
day.
Okay, so let's just say you're a coffee drinker and you like to drink the large cups of coffee.
Yes,
Okay?
exactly.
And in the morning you go to Starbucks or any other coffee shop, they're all relatively the same. I don't know if it's what it's like in each of the different countries, but I will say that the larger the cup of coffee, the more caffeine in that cup. That's logic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a large cup of coffee in the morning, then you may have reached your daily limit. It's possible. And then, lunchtime or after lunch, you're going to want to go for an iced coffee. At least here in America on a hot day,
Yeah.
so many people in the afternoons will go for an iced coffee because it's sweet, it's nice, it's tasty, but it still has caffeine.
Caffeine.
So
Exactly.
you have to be careful with the caffeine because if you overdo it, there's trouble.
Yep.
Okay, so the symptoms that you will experience, Vineet, if you drink too much coffee. I know coffee is your thing, not
Yeah,
chai.
not chai.
I like coffee and chai, man. They're both good. So the symptoms of drinking too much caffeine are tachycardia. So your heart will start to beat faster. The normal resting heart rate is like 60, 70, 80 beats per minute. You start to drink a large caffeinated drink and your heart rate can easily go above 100. Okay? So if you're drinking too much caffeine, you'll feel your heart is racing. You'll feel like your heart is beating too fast. You won't need to actually check it per se, but you'll just feel the sensation. The second thing, which is connected to that, is you will feel a sense of palpitations, like as if you'll feel like your heart is beating into your chest and your whole chest is shaking. We call it palpitations, where it just feels like your heart is overdoing it. Okay? And that will happen if you get too much caffeine. All right? The next symptom, and I think everyone pretty much has experienced this at some point in time, is if you drink too much caffeine, your hands will start to
Oh.
shake.
So it's like the limit. If we reach the limit daily, or
No, at any moment, if you overdo your caffeine consumption, your hands will start to shake, your heart will start to beat faster and faster and faster. Okay? It's potentially dangerous, right? Other symptoms, you may start to feel nauseated, like you want to throw up. You may actually start to vomit. And the last symptom that we're going to talk, or the last two symptoms that we're going to talk about today, is you may start to become confused, or it could trigger a panic-like symptoms where you just feel like everything's falling apart, everything's crashing in on you, and you'll literally have like a panic attack. So those are the main symptoms of what will happen if you drink too much caffeine. Okay? Too much coffee, too much tea, too much energy drinks. Okay? I think I'm gonna put out a different. Today's teaching point is not gonna be a traditional teaching point. I need you to get out your watch. You ready for this? Take out your watch. Do you have a watch or something with a second hand? Put your timer on. Put your timer on your phone.
okay.
Okay. Literally put your timer on, or I'll put it on for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna put our timers on our phones. No, we're gonna go to stopwatch. Go to stopwatch, and just start your stopwatch. Okay. Pretty much all of us that are watching these videos probably have smartphones. Turn your stopwatch on, and put your wrist out like this. Go ahead. Use your wrist. Say hand up to the sky. Okay.
Okay.
Supinated, and then put your two fingers here like you're going to take your pulse. Okay? Do you feel the pulse? Okay. And now the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to feel the pulse and like count it in your head. I'll tell you when we start, I'll tell you when we stop.
Sure.
We're going to measure our pulses for 6 seconds. Ready? Ready, set, go. 2. Stop. How many beats did you get?
7.
You got 7 beats? Okay, so 7 beats times 10 is 70. So your heart is beating 70 beats per minute, and that's fair. Mine was actually beating 90 beats per minute because I drank the chai, and the caffeine in the chai is already starting to increase my heart rate. So I'm below 100, so I feel like I'm in the safe zone. I'm going to go ahead and give another recommendation to every one of you that's watching, and I'm going to tell you right now, what I'm about to say, you want to tell every single human being you know to watch this video and to follow these guidelines, because these guidelines, this is actually legitimately going to help you live longer, okay? If you find that you're drinking caffeinated products and your heart rate is starting to go up, okay? And you decide to follow my little guidelines and check your pulse, and you end up in a 6-second period of time getting above 12 beats, or above 12 beats in 6 seconds, that means that your heart rate is above 120. If you do that, and you find your heart rate above 120 beats per minute, I want you to stop all caffeine consumption for a period of 5 hours, okay? And this is for every single one of you watching this video. If at any moment you're drinking coffee, you're drinking tea with your friends, you just chug 2 Red Bulls or some other caffeinated energy drink, and you start to feel your heart beating fast, do my little check here. Check your pulse. If you get a pulse rate if you get a pulse rate above 120 beats per minute, I want you to stop all caffeine consumption for 5 hours. Why is that? Because it takes your body about 5 hours to metabolize half of whatever caffeine you just drank. So whatever the caffeine level in your blood is at that moment when your heart's 120, it takes 5 hours to reduce it by 50%. That's a long time. So the caffeine will stay in your body for a long time. As a result of that, by listening to this advice, you will keep yourself within the safe zone, the Dr. Moses safe zone for caffeine consumption. Anytime your heart rate goes above 120, stop drinking the coffee, the chai, the energy drink. Wait 5 hours before you even think about sipping it again. If you do that, you will stay below the limits of caffeine toxicity for most people. Why do I say that? Because I have a friend right now who is extremely caffeine sensitive. If he was to drink 1 cup of coffee, his heart will beat irregularly, and he may even have chest pain from 1 cup of coffee or tea. On the flip side, I have another friend who she can probably drink 7 cups of coffee and go straight to bed because she's not sensitized to it and she can tolerate more. Her tolerance is higher. For her, I guess, I'm still gonna I'm sticking with the 120. Above 120 beats a minute, stop your caffeine consumption for 5 hours, okay? I'll explain more later. The video teaching point you just heard me tell you, you will not be able to find in a book, because I just made that up based on my experience, my own personal experience, plus seeing patients in the emergency room and the problems that they have. And I believe that if you can keep your heart rate below 120, I think above 100 is a little bit too fast, but I know how you people are. You guys love to drink your coffee, you love to drink your tea. Everybody has to have their large cup. So I'm trying to stay within what I think is a safer zone versus a dangerous zone. And so by keeping your caffeine intake to a heart rate of less than 120, more on the safe side than on the dangerous side. Heart rate starts to go to 130, 140, 150, you're in big trouble for ventricular fibrillation, which leads to death if not fixed immediately.
Moses, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
So I came from India. So
Yes.
in India, I saw people drinking chai in one hand and cigarette in one hand. So how dangerous it is to have nicotine and the caffeine at the same time?
Oh, Vineet, that's a great question.
Thank you.
But you know what?
Yeah.
We'll have to answer that one next time.
Sure.
Next time.